there was this great, funny ass show that came on about fantasy football that was called The League. And this movie is about a group of guys who, you know, were all old friends who have been playing fantasy football for years and years to come, and told about all their hijinks in the league every year. It was a great show. And obviously also something that I'm sure a lot of people who, if you didn't see it, didn't make a blip for you in the least bit now. But that is where I first met Mark Duplass. And then from there, it came Safety Not Guaranteed. Some of you might have seen that. The movie about the guy who takes an ad out about a possible time travel journey, and a reporter goes to investigate him. It's a fantastic movie, and it's done by Colin Trevorrow, who did the terrible Jurassic World films. At least did most of them. Ugh, they're so bad. But again, Mark Duplass getting a chance to show again more of his acting range, because The League is very much just a comedy, and that's it. And while he's done so many other things, some of which y'all might have seen now, like he does a lot more on the writing and directing side, because him and his brother are creators in Hollywood as well too. What I was going to say, this was something completely different that I would have never expected from him. And it came out back in 2014. The film we're talking, of course, is Creep. And I want to say I do remember seeing like the movie out back around then and hearing a little bit of a buzz about it. But as I've said on this show numerous times before, I used to be a bit of a snob when it came to horror films, because I very much only wanted to watch what was mainstream, mostly theatrical, and that was about it. If it wasn't mainstream and theatrical, I really wasn't that interested. And that's definitely changed. That's changed a lot in the last 5 years or so. And that's been great, because I've gotten to see a lot of really amazing horror films that I wouldn't have caught any other time. But Creep is definitely one of the ones that I was like, ugh, like it's one of these ones that everybody likes, but it's not really mainstream enough for me, so I'm not going to watch it. So I didn't. And this year, I've been really pushing myself to watch 365 new horror films. And I've been trying to keep a journal. I've definitely lost count, so I'm going to have to go back through and start noting again the ones that I've seen and I've gotten through. But my goal here, again, was to watch, 365 new horror films, and Creep was one of those movies. And I watched it, and I went in not knowing what to expect at all. It was getting a lot of praise. And it told the story of this man that hires a filmmaker to come and document him, basically like just living a day of his life, because this man is dying from a tumor, and he's recovered from cancer before, but this is it. He's going to die out, and that's going to be it for him. And he wants to record a diary for his son, as he calls it, very similar to the movie My Life with Michael Keaton. And over the course of this day of filming, our filmmaker Aaron begins to notice inconsistencies with the subject's stories, the subject being Joseph. And Joseph's telling him all these stories about his life experiences with his family, and these terrible situations, but also heartfelt situations that he's gone through. He shows him this terrifying wolf mask that he calls Peach Fuzz, that he says is something from his childhood. But as the day goes on, again, like these stories become less consistent, and there's details missing, and Joseph doesn't seem to remember certain things that he probably should be remembering, and eventually gets to the point to where Joseph starts to tell Aaron more and more disturbing stories. And Aaron again begins to suspect that, you know, whether or not there's something actually wrong with Joseph, it's probably not safe for him to still be there anymore, and that's where the real trouble begins. This is such an amazing film, because if it's the first time you're seeing it, and I would advise you, if you haven't seen it before, you don't want to watch this review. I'm not really going to spoil anything, because we're still within the 10-year rule, but a lot of the mystique of the film is best to go in without knowing anything at all. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch this review yet, unless you're somebody who doesn't mind being spoiled. In that case, watch away. But what's so great about this? Number one, the fact that Duplass also helped write this script along with the director, Patrick Brice. They wrote it together. And, you know, I haven't looked too far into their writing process for this, but it seems that some of this was just like improv. I don't mean like necessarily stories or anything like that, but there's numerous times throughout the film to where Joseph is trying to scare Aaron, and I feel like they probably didn't plan those specifically, and they're just like, hey Mark, just go ahead and scare him whenever, like scare me whenever you can. All right, we're gonna get it like multiple times. We'll use the best one in the movie. All right, but I love the fact that Mark Duplass is such a great actor that as he continues shifting through these different phases throughout the film, and his stories, again, they're very strong at first, and then they start weakening, and he's missing details, and he becomes distracted, and he's focusing on other details now. You start to really suspect something sinister is going on, and at first it's like, well, this guy is completely harmless. He might be a little eccentric, he might just be a little overbearing, but there's nothing that wrong with him, right? And by the time we get to the last 20 minutes or so, because the movie's not long. The movie's only about 75 minutes long, I want to say it is. And so we have to get through it very, very quick. It's a lot like Host in the way that we just gotta get through it fast. They say it's like Host. I know it came before Host did. But the first part of the film to where we don't really know if Joseph is actually crazy or insane or there's something wrong with him at all, it's great because we first believe all these symptomatic stories he's giving us, and Duplass does such a great job selling that. But then again, once we get to the second half of the film and everything becomes that much more sinister, it's so easy to get immersed in Aaron's terror and Aaron's fear of Joseph. And it's a wonderful movie. It's an absolutely wonderful film because it doesn't have to rely on any kind of kills or gore or anything like that. Like, it actually conveys a lot of scares just through Duplass himself and just his terrifying behavior that he can sell homicidal and psychotic extremely, extremely well. And he's incredibly unsettling. And that's fun because when you compare that again to something like The League, to where he's just the friendliest guy, it's like, cool, this is the guy that I would absolutely get a beer with. Like, we're really, really good friends. Like, he's able to do something like that and then play a role like this to where it's like you would never want to be anywhere close to this person. You'd walk on the other side of the street if you saw this person walking down the road now. And he does such a great job. And of course, Patrick Brice, who is also the director, but he plays Aaron, we really have to live through him because he is our eyes. Like, he's actually literally our eyes because his camera's the one that's filming it. And this is one to where it actually makes a lot of sense why the filmmaker keeps on filming what's going on, because we've always said in a lot of these films like that where it's like somebody's filming it, you know, it's reality. The issue is, why would you keep filming in a time like this? Why would you keep doing it? And it's reasonable, the reason why Aaron, keeps filming throughout the film, because he doesn't really believe he's in danger until towards the end of the night with Joseph. And then at that point, it's more so to document and what he thinks is going to keep him safe ultimately. And then, you know, throughout the rest of the film, it's again documenting everything in case something were to happen. And so it makes a lot of sense that, again, that Aaron filmed all of it, and I love that reasoning to it. And the ending is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, because especially if you've allowed yourself to really get close to this just like, I don't know, this antagonism between Joseph and Aaron, if you've just been immersed in it, then the ending is very, very well deserved and very, very shocking as well too. And it puts just that cherry on top of this film to really make you understand what it is that you're watching. And the little coda after that just makes everything just that much more terrifying. It's absolutely something that you want to check out. And again, it's such a short movie that you don't have to really commit that much time to it. Definitely want to watch late night though. I absolutely recommend. This is a late night one you want to watch, because it gets just more eerie and eerie and eerie, just having just the two cast members watching, especially late at night. So check it out. And not only that, make sure that you go and check out my review of Creep 2, because yeah, we got to do them back to back at this point. So you're gonna want to go check that one out as well, folks. Hey everybody, I appreciate you checking out this video, whether it was a review, whether it was a new episode, whether it was an unboxing, an interview, or whatever else. I want to remind you can check out my separate reviews also on my YouTube page, and new full episodes go up every Wednesday night on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and on your favorite podcasting platforms at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.